Hello, economics students. This is Mrs. Politsky, and I have your notes for Chapter 13, Section 3, Unemployment, which sounds kind of like a downer, but we'll try to make this as painless as possible. Anyway, joblessness, for the most part, is a measure of joblessness, is the unemployment rate. The Bureau of Labor Statistics defines civilian labor force as, or the labor force, if you want to make it really simple, as the sum of all persons 16 and above who are either employed or actively seeking employment. And the Census Bureau defines the unemployed as people available to work who have made a specific effort to find a job in the past month, meaning that they've gone out and at least applied, and who during the most recent week survey or survey week worked less than 1 hour for pay or profit. Okay. Monthly unemployment rate is expressed as a percentage of the entire labor force. And the unemployment rate kind of understates unemployment because it does not count workers who have become too frustrated to look for work, or those who consider part-time work instead as being fully employed. So it's kind of like this. Usually when we talk about people who are applying for, like, let's say, some type of unemployment assistance, meaning like they're out of work. One of the things that the government wants to do is have them go out and actively seek employment. And that might mean like putting out so many job applications or applying for so many jobs. And one of the things that the government wants to do is to check on that in determining this statistic. It is possible that over a period of time, somebody might just say, I'm done. I'm not going to go out and try to find work anymore. And it's those people who basically drop out of the system that are not figured into the full equation. And so we don't know who's all out there looking for jobs because they're just not seeking employment. And hence that makes this number kind of interesting because we're not really for sure, the complete number of people in an entire nation that might be looking for work. Anyway, sources of unemployment. There's a lot of different things that can happen, but one common type is what we call frictional unemployment. This is where workers are between jobs for one reason or another. So they might have left the job because maybe they moved, or maybe the business closed or downsized or whatever. A more serious form of unemployment is structural unemployment, and this is due to a fundamental change of the economy. So when we talk about the number of people who have lost their jobs as a result of like COVID-19, that would be an example of basically structural unemployment. But that's something that could change very rapidly once the country reopens. Okay. Another thing that can cause this to happen is issues with like outsourcing. It used to be that we had a lot of manufacturing jobs here in the United States. Well, the cost of labor has gone up dramatically, and so a lot of manufacturers have looked for other places in the world to send those jobs. And for example, China is one of those places that we've outsourced a lot of labor to. And part of that is because their workers don't work for a lot of money, okay, compared to the American workers. So those jobs leave the United States, and that might leave some people unemployed. There's unemployment that is due to technological unemployment, and this is because things have become automated. Machines replace workers, and hence that's why it's important for the labor force to kind of keep up their skills, okay, so that they won't be outsourced or they won't be facing unemployment due to being replaced by technology. A fourth kind is what we call cyclical unemployment, and this is directly related to swings in the business cycle. Fifth type this is one that we probably see more for younger workers, is what we call seasonal employment. And this usually happens because there's a change in weather. So if you're talking about like agricultural jobs, so if you've ever detasseled, or if you work at the swimming pool, you might have those jobs for a handful of months during the year. And then when the weather gets colder, it obviously means that you're going to be without a job. All right, cost of instability. The cost of economic instability can be measured in economic and human terms. One measure of the economic cost of unemployment is what we call the GDP gap. And this is the difference between the actual GDP and the potential GDP if everything was fully utilized. The misery index, this is the sum of the monthly inflation and unemployment rates. So if you combine those two, obviously those are never really, happy kind of issues when we talk about having to pay more and having people that are without work. Hence, they call it the misery index. In an unstable economy, a great deal of uncertainty exists, and an unstable economy can lead to political instability, and it can allow for other things to happen, like the rise in crime rates and poverty. And yeah, politicians hate that. And certainly they would want to have things a little more stable. All right. Thank you very much.